Okay, everyone, I believe we will get started. Before we actually get into the presentation, I am going to turn it over to Brittney Hughes, our communications specialist. She is going to go over the ins and outs of our WebEx format that we were going through here. So follow along, and she will enlighten us on how to use this new format that we have. So take it away, Brittany.
Thank you, Philip. Like he said, my name is Brittney Hughes. I am the communications specialist for a community development agency. And I just want to very briefly mention some of you guys are calling in and some of you guys are coming in through your computers and on a mobile phone. So I can see that. I can see all participants on here. And I'm also looking at the chat. So everyone does have access to the chat feature on WebEx, and you are able to enter in questions, comments, concerns, anything that you want. You can put into the chat box. I am recording this, and all chats will be reviewed by staff. If you do have any suggestions that you want to put into the chat for staff during the 5-year update meeting, or if you have a question, we can either address it via chat or we can wait until the Q&A at the very end. I do have the functionality to unmute whoever I want here. So if anyone does have questions during the Q&A, there is a function where you can just put into the chat and say that I have a question, and then I can unmute you if I just know what your name is on, you have a screen name on here. So anyway, I want you to thank everyone for being here tonight. And we do have some polling that we're going to be doing during this. So even those who are on there calling in, they can participate. You just need to text 5-year 2040. So the number 5, YE, A as an apple, R, 2040 to 22333 to join the poll. So you'll be able to participate even if you are calling in the polling questions. And then Philip will explain the polling questions when they come up. There will be 3 questions during this meeting. So if there's any questions at all, please comment in the chat box and I'll respond. And I will go ahead and answer this right now. How can we access a copy of the draft of the new comp plan? So the 2040 comp plan is located at the website www.cobbcounty.org/comp-plan. So I'm going to put that in the chat box right now so you can check it out. But for any follow-up questions or any future questions, I'll be muting myself, but I'll be moderating the chat box as the meeting progresses. Philip, did I miss anything?
Yes, thank you, Brittany. Ron, to answer your question, what's out there online right now is our 2017 version of the comprehensive plan. We have not drafted an updated plan just yet. But as we get that drafted and updated, or get that drafted, there will be, at the end of this whole entire update process, there will be a 30-day review period for the public to take a look at the draft of the updated plan. So that is not out there online yet. We are beginning. This is the first community meeting for the 5-year update. So it'll be toward the end of spring before you see a draft update, maybe even early summer before you see a draft update online. So hopefully that answers your question. Also, to join the interactive polling, as Brittany said, you can either join by web or join by text. You can also, if you're familiar with your camera on your phone, you can scan the QR code there, and that will take you straight to the web version. And you can just start participating as we move through the presentation process. So with that, I am now going to turn it over to Jessica Gwen, our Community Development Director, and she's going to sort of welcome everyone to the meeting. Take it away, Jessica. She may be muted. I've got to.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jessica Gwynn, Community Development Director for Cobb County. And first of all, I just want to thank everyone for participating with us. As Brittany and Philip shared, this is the very first of our community meetings for the 2040 5-year update to the comprehensive plan. And this, of course, is unique. We've never done public participation in this format with the virtual format. We've got some new tools that we'll be using to get feedback from you all as participants, but also some great tools that are available on the county website for those who may not participate in the community meetings, or even for those of you who are participating to go take a look at follow the plan as it moves along, and also to provide feedback. So this is the first shot for us to hear from you all, from Cobb County residents, about what you would like to see included in the 2040 comprehensive plan. This is a process that's required by the state of Georgia, so we are completing that in accordance with state requirements. And the plan needs to be adopted prior to October 31st of this year. So Philip is our project manager, and our planning team. We're all on board here, and they'll walk through all of that with you all and give you a good overview of the process and kind of what to expect from here and how you can continue to be involved throughout this process. We appreciate your involvement. We look forward to continuing to participate with you all and to hear from you all throughout the project. And hopefully, as we get a little bit closer to the springtime and maybe the situation with COVID improves, we certainly are looking forward to having some in-person meetings this spring too. So hope to see you all at a meeting in the future. And just again, thank you all for participating tonight. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you, Jessica. All right. So we'll go ahead and get started with our presentation, kind of go over our agenda for tonight. Again, I am Philip Westbrook. I'll be leading you through the presentation tonight. There will be other presenters. Before I get started, I hope everyone was able to log in and into our interactive poll session. This site will allow you to interactively participate in the meetings tonight. If you have not joined the site, or if you've come in late, please look into our chat box. I believe Brittany has posted the web link. You can also use your phone as well to join that poll session. We will, as we go through the slides, I will let you know when you can interact with those polls. And then toward the end, we'll have group activity where everyone will be involved to provide more open-ended type answers to questions. So with that, again, this is a virtual meeting. This is our first one that we've conducted in the planning division. So hopefully it goes smooth. If it doesn't, please bear with us. If we run into any technical difficulties, hopefully that won't be the case. So I'll start off by giving an overview of the agenda tonight. I will give an overview of what the comprehensive plan is and why it's important. I'll briefly go through our 5-year update process and the scope of this particular project. David Webb, our intergovernmental coordinator, will take over to provide an analysis on the trends we've discovered through our assessment of existing conditions. And Mandy Elliott, our historic preservation planner, will provide information on what the next steps will be following this meeting. Again, after that, we'll get started on our group activities. This will be the fun part. This is where we can tap into your knowledge and your opinions on the future of Cobb County. Oh, okay. All right, yeah, here we go. So this is sort of as an icebreaker question, just so everyone gets familiar with the polling. You should be able to answer this question if you had signed in to any of those pollev.com 5-year 2040, or if you texted. Basically, this is just you would answer the question by typing in A or B. And again, this is just to get familiar with the process. This question actually really doesn't have any burden on the or any value to the process. It's just to get you familiar with the polling as we move through this process. And I'll give it a few minutes so you all can have an opportunity to sign in if you need to. And Brittany, can you let me know as far as participation in the poll so I know when to move forward?
Yes, I definitely will. We are still getting responses.
Okay.
So it looks like we're still getting responses in. However, a few people are having difficulty getting into the poll. Personally, I was able to click on the link in the chat and I was able to automatically go in there. I just have to enter my name, and you can enter an alias if you don't want to enter your name, and then hit continue. If this does not work for you, the best option would be to text. We have tested this many, many times, and we all personally prefer text over the web, but the web does work.
And I might add, if you just absolutely can't do either one or have problems with it, just enter your response in the chat, because again, this is being recorded and we can cross-reference everything, and we'll make sure that we get your comments.
Exactly. I'm moderating the chat, and I did personally respond to Ms. Meyer. So if you do have any issues, I can personally respond to you and not put it into the everyone response.
Okay. All right. So I think we're going to move forward. And so it looked like, let me see, so it looks like 73% of you do know what a comprehensive plan is. That's rather surprising. So with that, I will kind of reiterate exactly what the comprehensive plan is. Again, it is a long-term plan that provides an overarching vision for the county. And when I say long-term in comprehensive planning words, that is, we're talking 10 to 20 years. It does contain a vision statement that paints a picture of what the community desires to become. It articulates and describes the desired outcome. The comprehensive plan provides a growth strategy that includes community-defined needs, goals, and policies, as well as a 5-year work program. And the community needs can be defined. You can think of the needs as the gap between what is and what should be. Let me rephrase that. The community needs can be defined as the gap between what is and what should be. It can be as concrete as the need for food and water, or as abstract as the need to improve community cohesiveness. Community needs are defined by the community through this engagement process, such as what we're going through tonight. And as part of the scope of this project, we'll be looking at evaluating the existing needs from our 2017 plan and determine whether they're still relevant. These needs help establish the goals and policies, and the goals and policies are used to guide decisions that help the county bring the vision to reality. Then there's the community work program. This is a 5-year work program that identifies specific projects that the county intends to undertake over the next 5 years. The comprehensive plan is also used as a decision-making tool that provides policy guidance and community expectations, especially when it comes to the future land use map. The community does have an expectation of the way the community develops into the future, and that is our future land use map. While the comprehensive plan is all those things, there is one thing that it is not. It is not a regulated code or a regulated plan. It is only one of many tools that help guide decisions about the future of Cobb County. All right, so if it's not a regulated code, then why is it so important? Well, first and foremost, the comprehensive plan promotes a healthy and economically vibrant community that fosters an attractive place to live and invest. Through the engagement process, it does provide a growth management strategy that embodies the desires of the community. This is a strategy that, because of the process, again, that we're going through tonight, the community engagement, this growth management strategy becomes part of the community, and it's from the community. And while it may not be the most important reason why we plan, the state of Georgia does incentivize and mandate jurisdictions to carry out comprehensive planning efforts. And they do so through the Department of Community Affairs that oversees the standards and procedures for the process. Georgia incentivizes comprehensive planning by allowing cities and counties to become qualified local governments or to be QLG compliant. With this QLG compliance, the county is eligible to participate and receive financial resources for many different programs that are critical to the operations of the county. So certain funding that is important to the community is dependent upon the comprehensive plan and the qualified local government status. Currently, the county is in good standing with the state. However, our QLG status expires in October of 2022. I believe Jessica had mentioned that at the beginning of our meeting. And to extend our QLG status out another 5 years, we need to complete an update consistent with the Department of Community Affairs standards and have it adopted by October 31st of 2022. So what's that process look like? Well, it's actually, there is a detailed version or a detailed process, but for our meeting here tonight, I'm just going to take a quick broad look at the overall update process. And a lot of the information that we'll be showing you tonight includes the information that was gathered through our data collection and analysis phase of the project. This phase began really in the summer of 2021 and went through the fall and early winter. And then we are beginning our next phase tonight. This next phase of the project, which is now our community engagement phase. This includes the gathering of information from you, the community, through these community meetings, online engagement that we'll talk a little bit about later on, and public hearings that will be conducted throughout the process. This is, again, our first community meeting out of a total of, well, 6 meetings. There will likely be more that will take place through the rest of this winter and into the spring, and we'll have more information on those meetings here in a few slides later. But once we have completed the engagement process or the engagement phase of the project once we have completed the engagement phase, the project management team will begin drafting an updated plan for adoption. And once that plan is complete, as I had mentioned earlier, there will be a 30-day public review before we submit to the Department of Community Affairs. And again, this will take place in the spring and summer, well before we plan to adopt the final draft in October later this year. Okay, the scope of this project, kind of give you a little bit of background. There is 3 different types of updates that a comprehensive plan effort goes through. There's the annual update, which a lot of you may be familiar with. That's updating the future land use and looking at small area policy guidelines. A lot of you may know these as the community or the comprehensive plan amendments. That's an annual update. It's usually in January. Then there's also a 10-year update, which is a complete overhaul of the comprehensive plan. That is essentially rewriting a brand new plan. This was done in 2017, which took a look at our 2007 comprehensive plan, and we essentially overhauled it and created this 2040 comprehensive plan. And then finally, what we are here tonight for is our 5-year update. This is a limited scope update that will focus on gathering feedback related to future land use and any amendments that come out of the community engagement phase of the process as far as future land use. We'll also be looking at your thoughts, looking to get your thoughts on any community needs that are currently in the 2040 plan so that we can determine if those needs are still relevant. And then something new that we have to add into our plan is a broadband element. This is part of Georgia's broadband initiative designed to promote broadband infrastructure across all parts of Georgia. This is the primary purpose for this is for information and economic growth. We will be including a broadband element. And in addition to the project team, we'll also be conducting a status report on our past 5-year work program, which is known as the report of accomplishments. This is basically taking a look at our 5-year work program and conducting a status report on those projects. And then we'll be including a new 5-year work program that will take us out another 5 years. And then finally, we'll also be doing some maintenance on the existing plan, cleaning up and clarifying any complicated language and better aligning the plan with other planning efforts across the county. This is mainly to reduce inconsistencies and redundancy. This will probably eliminate some of the optional elements, but the plans that guide those elements will be referenced in the supplemental plan section of our 2040 comprehensive plan. All right, and we have one before we move on to the next section of our presentation. We have another question that we want to ask. This question, again, you can you don't need to go to the site if you're already there, but you can just type in your one-word description of Cobb County today. And if you would go ahead and just type in one word on how you feel Cobb County is today. And this is sort of a word cloud. Some of you may be familiar with it, but if someone repeats the same description, that particular description will grow larger. But this will help us sort of provide a foundation for your thoughts on Cobb County as it is today.
Looks like we're getting some awesome responses. We also have responses in the chat. Transitional, growing is a huge one. A lot of people are saying growing, endangered, interesting, and then transitional. So we still have some responses coming in as well. Braves fans, I like that one. Also in this, we just had one that says growing above expectation, which is pretty awesome. So in this specific activity, it only takes the first word. So that's why that didn't completely show up.
All right, we'll just give it a few more minutes or a few more seconds. Okay, it looks like we've had a little stop in the word cloud, so we'll move on forward. We're going to move into the assessment and trends. David Webb, our intergovernmental coordinator, will take over from here to sort of give us some of the existing conditions for Cobb County. This will help us establish baseline conditions and provides a context for assessing potential impacts throughout the county. So, David, if you want to take it away.
Thank you, Phil. Good evening, everyone. The data that we're about to look at are really a snapshot of current information, but we also have some historical data that's going to inform how we're going to be planning for the next 40 years, as well as some projections. I will say most of the projections that are captured in our comprehensive plans are based on U.S. Census data, and also the Georgia Demographics Office feeds into that as well. From a planner standpoint, we try to use the best data available, which is official government U.S. government sources that are accessible to everyone. And of course, every time there's a census, that is also a big help. In between the census, for those of you who do not know, the U.S. Census continues to work and produces what's called the American Community Survey. So they release those numbers and information that informs a lot of what we're doing as far as comprehensive planning. Okay, Phil, next slide. 766,149. That is the official Cobb County population according to the 2020 U.S. Census. We are the third most populous county in the metro, having passed DeKalb now. We see our population continuing to increase. Maybe not as fast as it was 15, 20 years ago, but we do still see a steady growth rate. We are projected to hit 1 million people by 2050. So within 30 years, I'm sure all of us will be spry and still kicking around by then. We will most likely see 1 million people in the county. You can see on the chart our comparison to other metro counties. Fulton and Gwinnett are still above Cobb, but we are number 3 in the metro region. Next slide. Our best data on households came from 2019 American Community Survey, which is 286,952 households. We continue to see an increase in households as we continue to see an increase in population. Households that have children under 18, we are seeing a decrease, with one adult 65 and up is increasing. So it's no secret that our population overall is growing older and not younger. Non-families households are need to be steady, and people living by themselves are also increasing. Single households with a child in them, a single parent household, tend to be trending a little bit lower. And single households with over 65 are also a little bit lower since 2017. Next. This one will surprise a lot of people. Cobb County is now a majority minority community, and that the Caucasian population is no longer the majority of the county's population. And this is something that's been happening for quite a while. Did not happen. This trend that was probably predicted in 2010, and it's going to continue to increase in diversity. As Cobb continues to become more diverse, that presents different challenges as far as planning for housing, planning for schools, planning for different sectors of the community. Next. The median age of the county right now is 37.3. Our median ages are trending up. You can see the chart at the lower right that our percentage of population above the age of 45 continues to grow and has really shot up in the past 10 years. 65 and over population continues to grow at an even faster rate. And you can see the chart in the upper left. Note that our over 65 population will be over 280,000 projected by 2050. Let's look at education now. Cobb County has a graduation rate from high school of 87%, which puts us very high in the metro region, as you can see on the main chart there. 30% of our population does hold a bachelor's degree or higher. In 2019, and we are one of the most educated counties. You can see our bachelor's degree or higher surpasses the Georgia averages to the lower right. And the wheel graphic there, might be a little bit tough to see, shows kind of an educational breakout of our population. Slide. And as you would expect, with a pretty well-educated workforce and population, the Cobb County income is fairly high compared to other counties in the area. The median household income is number 3 in the metro region, behind Fayette and Cherokee, and also the per capita is also high, 3rd in the metro region. These both are well above our state and U.S. levels for income. Both median income and per capita income, however, did grow at a little bit slower rate in the state from 2010 to 2019. But on the other side of that, we continue to experience poverty in certain areas and sectors of Cobb County. Our 2019 poverty rate was 8.1%. We continue to have pockets of poverty-stricken neighborhoods in the central, south, and north Cobb. However, our good news is our poverty levels are trending down, and we are below state and U.S. levels of poverty. And you can see the map on the left of the screen there. It kind of breaks out where the highest pockets of poverty exist in Cobb County today. Let's look at our labor force. I would emphasize this is a point-in-time survey. Unemployment is trending down, and a lot of this really was not fully captured by the pandemic numbers. Most of our 2020 and 2019 numbers we're looking at for the comprehensive plan were taken or were in progress as the pandemic started. One interesting fact that I learned from our friends at the Regional Commission is that Cobb County was the #1 county for people able to work at home. So consider that as we look at our breakthrough of workforce. Healthcare and social assistance, retail, and admin are our top 3 areas of our workforce and employment. Our unemployment rate is fairly low, 2.6%, which is well below both the state and national averages. Next slide. Now let's look quickly at some of the projections for what the labor force is going to be doing. The employment outlook is very strong, considered to be a 28% increase in available jobs by 2050. Healthcare occupations will be the leading employment sector by 2028, according to our best estimates. For those of you who are trying to take notes, I saw that chat. Note, this presentation will be available on the website, and it is not exclusive to this session. So if you want to go back and look at all our demographic numbers, you can. How is it? Cobb County definitely is about one type of housing, single family dwellings. And anyone who lives in Cobb County pretty much knows this intuitively, that you can go around and see neighborhoods popping up and cropping up all over Cobb. This is starting to change. There has been an increase in units between 2000 and 2010. And I would know that 2/3 of our population has owner occupied dwellings, and only 1/3 being renter occupied. Since 2015, the owner occupied has had a slight increase. Single family homes saw the largest increase since 2010. Home types with multiple units, less than 10, make up a smaller percentage of the total housing stock in 2019. However, those of you who are following our current trends in planning and zoning applications will see that there are many applications for multifamily dwellings. In fact, 1 month in 2021, we saw application for over 1,000 multifamily units. Not saying that they are approved in any way. They are all, many of them are still moving through different processes and in different stages, but there tends to be high interest in development of housing of different types in Cobb County. Next slide. I mentioned multifamily, and this has a lot to do with affordability. 2013, our Cobb County median home value was $182,700. Our best numbers from official government sources in 2019 was $283,300, a 55% increase. Those of you who love to see your home pop up on Zillow and check out its value, we all know that these numbers have rapidly changed as well. Cobb County is pretty close to the U.S. average as far as affordability. You see on this graph, California is kind of the outlier. West Coast in general is generally less affordable considered the national average. You can see, we'll put together some statistics based on different states, but also in comparison to some of the other counties around us. And surprisingly, we're a little more affordable than DeKalb and very close to Gwinnett on the affordability outcome. The monthly cost of housing has really increased, however, for both owners and renters. And this continues to be a concern that will be addressed in a kind of a blueprint of how to move forward as far as the comprehensive plan, but that will be very much a Board of Commissioners led initiative about what will be our future housing mixes. I want to emphasize the comprehensive plan does not dictate what the mix will be. It simply provides a guideline based on our data and has some recommendations of how to move forward in different areas. So don't think the comprehensive plan is in any way, shape, or form going to dictate what gets approved as far as housing. That is a case-by-case basis up to our elected officials. Next slide, please. Land use. The future land use map is a core part of any comprehensive plan. This is a snapshot of what our current land use looks like in Cobb County. You see the wheel graph that residential uses are almost 70% of the county. We do have pockets and nodes of commercial, mostly in East and West Cobb, and obviously in Cumberland, in the Barrett Parkway area surrounding KSU. Lots of commercial up and down Canton Road, Austell Road, Veterans Memorial Parkway, and also Mapleton Parkway, including obviously Cobb Parkway. We have some intense commercial centers around the Johnson Ferry Road area, Merchants Walk area, and Austell Road and East-West Connector. The most intense commercial uses are found in the Cumberland and Town Center area. Our industrial uses are not really spread around the county that much. You can see that our industrial uses are really concentrated south of I-20, right around McCollum Field, the Colonial Tank Farm at near the east-west connector. And also the Atlanta Road and Chattahoochee River area have some industrial uses. Parks, recreation, and conservation make up the second most existed land use, which speaks well of the county as far as investment in parklands and preserving open space. The majority of the parkland, I will note, however, is federally owned, with the different sectors and units of the Kennesaw Mountain National Battlefield making up a lot of the parkland, as well as the Chattahoochee National Recreation Area, obviously along the Chattahoochee, also having a lot of the parklands. Okay, next slide. So we have 3 quick slides for summary of what we found for assessments and trends. We will be continuing to grow, however, at a much slower rate. We're expected to hit 1 million people by 2050. We will increase in diversity. We expect our median age to also increase, mirroring kind of the national trend on that. The largest increase in population will be 65 and over. The middle-aged working class, considered 25 to 54, is expected to be the largest age group by 2050. Our median and per capita incomes are healthy and continue to trend up. Educational attainment continues to be a very strong indicator for economic success. As our workforce continues to be educated, it points to more economic success for the county population as a whole. Unemployment continues to drop. We have a healthy employment increase expected out to 2050. We expect more employment in several key sectors: healthcare, finance and insurance, professional, technical and scientific, and construction. It's good news that our poverty rates are decreasing, but there is more work to do, especially in the certain pockets that we have identified through our studies. We will be seeing more households as the population and housing increases. And the housing units have increased at a slower rate than in the past. Because, let's face it, the county is filling up with houses and you can only put so many subdivisions all over the county. Next. The majority of the housing, as we saw by our land use graph, continues to be single family. Housing types with 3 to 9 units did grow the least. Largest increase in housing type was a single family attached by percentage. The housing tenure does remain steady. Basically, how many people own their dwelling unit versus rent. The rapidly increase of value does remain a concern. You all know that you probably are starting to see increased tax bills. We really don't address that specifically in the comprehensive plan. Again, that's a elected officials' decision on a year-by-year basis based on the county budget. We just note the trends in the comprehensive plan to help inform those decisions going forward. And we all know the affordability of a home in Cobb has increased, which has become a cost burden to a lot of renters trying to move into the county, which is a specific concern for our sectors of the population that do not have a higher wage traditionally. And with that, we have another poll. In one word, describe how you would like Cobb County to be in 2040. We realize this is a little tough. One word, describe Cobb in 2040.
All right. Thank you, David.
I wanted to pipe in here. If anyone wants to elaborate on their one-word response, please feel free to do so in the chat. We want to take everyone's comments into consideration when we do review our public participation. So if you would like to elaborate on your topic, feel free to do so in chat. I am saving our chat so we can review it later. And yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
And we will also, toward the end, there will be more of an interactive session where we will do a SWOT analysis, and you can definitely enter in more than one word in those during that interactive session. This is sort of our aspirational question. So this will help out how the county intends to move forward and sort of looking at the desires of the community. Looks like
I'm loving
inclusive.
these responses.
Yes.
Inclusive is an awesome response, and it looks like that's one of our biggest one single word responses. And it's just awesome because looking into the future, into 2040, we're gonna get even more diverse than we have been already. So it's just awesome to see your responses. That's exactly what we're looking at. We're gonna be getting more diverse, and with diversity comes inclusivity. So that's awesome.
It looks like suburban is taking shape. They're in our past comprehensive plan pretty much focused on the preservation of some of our suburban areas.
All right, we're gonna give it a few more seconds. All right, so it looks like we can go ahead and close the poll, but if you would like to continue and give us feedback in the chat, it is open.
All right, thanks, Brittany. Okay, our next slide, Mandy Elliott, our historic preservation planner, is kind of going to go over what our next plans are as far as moving forward with our comprehensive plan update. And then please, this is not the last slide, so don't go anywhere. We'll have a more interactive session with our SWOT analysis as well as our demonstration of our community input application. We have really had to sort of change our plans when it came to these virtual meetings. We had to make things a little more virtual, interactive, and the next tools after this slide here we will go into. So this is not the last slide, so I just want to make sure everyone stays with us. And Mandy, you're it.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. This slide really gives you an overview of the upcoming community meetings that we're going to have. We have scheduled a meeting per commission district for the moment. And please note that these dates have changed if you have seen a previous list of meetings. All meetings are scheduled for February and will now be virtual. We may have some in-person meetings coming up in March, as Jessica and Phil have alluded to, so just keep an eye out for those. And we hope to have an open house in April that will provide the public to view draft proposals. After that open house, we will announce that the draft is ready for review by the public for a 30-day window, as Phil has talked about. And then we will take those comments and create a final draft to present to the Department of Community Affairs and the Board of Commissioners for that final adoption by October 31st. Please keep an eye on the website for further updates and potential changes. And we thank you for your flexibility as the schedule may change. Just keep an eye out for any changes. Information and updates will also be available through other avenues such as social media and commissioner newsletters. And we thank you again for participating, for being here, and I hope you help spread the word to your friends and neighbors for our future meetings.
All right, thank you, Mandy, for that information. Okay, again, this is this is a very good opportunity to provide your feedback here. We're going to conduct a SWOT analysis. Mind you, this is something that we are very familiar with in an in-person setting. So we're going to try to conduct this virtually and interactively. Ideally, we'd like to break out into groups, but it's just not that easy how we can do it, but it's extremely complicated, and we wanted this to run as smooth as possible. So we're all going to stay together, and we're going to run through this SWOT analysis. And if you're not familiar with it, we'll look at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, or challenges. What this does is it helps us helps us identify community issues in a more quick fashion. It reveals a great deal about the community, and the objective is to help develop full awareness of all the factors, whether they're positive or negative. And then again, it'll help us identify any new needs that are out there, and will also help us reevaluate the existing needs that are in our plan. Okay, so with that, we're going to start off. And our first question is, what are the strengths of the county? And again, on your phone or on the pollev.com website, you can provide your strengths of Cobb County. What we kind of looking for is what makes Cobb County great. What do you feel like is unique to the county? All right, so we've got low taxes. That's pretty much all the time when we do these. That is a strength, usually for Cobb. Schools is another one. We do get location type answers, close proximity to Atlanta. Diversity, that's a good one. Small business friendly. Accessibility, location. Those are usually our top three: location, low taxes, and schools. If you're having a hard time thinking about the strengths, you can think about some of the things that you like best about Cobb, or think about some of the things that you would like to stay the same in Cobb. Or you could even think about what is working well in Cobb. What is unique and special about Cobb County? You guys are doing great. This is usually we're getting not as much content for these, or not a lot of interactive answers when it comes to in person. So this is great. I'm glad to see a lot of information coming through. All right, we'll give it about 30 more seconds. All right, we'll move on to the next question. Thank you very much for those answers. By the way, these 4 questions that we're going to go through, if you haven't already taken the survey, you can take the survey. There's going to be these questions as well as other questions that relate to the needs that are in our existing plan. You can find that survey on our website. So let's move to the next question. Let's see. All right. So now let's think about what are the weaknesses of the county. A lot of you probably have some thoughts on that. So what do you consider weaknesses? Traffic, that's always one. By the way, I do want to tell you that our counterparts at the Department of Transportation are finishing up the comprehensive transportation plan, and they will be finalizing that likely early, either this spring or even in the next month or so. But what we'll do is we'll synthesize that comprehensive transportation plan and include the goals and policies from that plan into this comprehensive plan. We do not want to go through that process again, something that DOT has been undertaking for the last 2 years. And so what we'll do is we'll take that information and include it into this comprehensive plan, and that will become our transportation element. But that should not stop you from providing any transportation comments that you might have. That's a great one. For a few options for Wi-Fi and fiber, again, that's a new broadband element that we're going to have to include in the comprehensive plan. And we will take a look at that, and we'll note that. All right. I will give it about 30 more seconds. These are all good comments. All right, we'll move on from there. We've got a couple more questions to ask. All right, so the next question, we've got our strengths and you've provided your opportunities. I'm sorry, provided your weaknesses. Now, what are some opportunities that the county should take advantage of moving forward? Let's see, any considerations on how the issues listed from the weaknesses and challenges may be addressed?
Also think about if you're still around in 20 years, what would you want to see in Cobb County?
Also, maybe you listed in your description of the way you describe Cobb County in 2040, such as a one-word description or one-word vision. Any ideas on how that might be accomplished? So whatever your vision is for the future of Cobb, any ideas on how that might be accomplished? Brittany, it looks like it's repeating.
I apologize. Looks like there was a glitch in the system. So it looks like it started over. So it looks like we've got government provided waste and recycling services, control strip malls, Chattahoochee River. It looks like we've got an opportunity for that.
Okay.
More opportunities for small businesses to service the government needs. It's an awesome one. Attainable and affordable housing, more small businesses. We actually had a ton of small businesses open up in the past year, about, I want to say over 1,000, which is crazy. And that was just in 2021. So that's a great statistic. I know that because I work with the business license division. So.
All right, I'm going to give it 15 more seconds, even though it may not show up on your screen. We are still collecting data. So
Yep.
if you want to continue for about 15 more seconds, and then we'll move on to the challenges.
So I apologize for that. I believe that was actually my fault that it glitched like that. So I know not to do that next time. We've got more variety in housing types, which is great. Underground utilities, revitalize the Old Town Center Mall area. Art centers open most every day with activities for all. That's a great idea. That really is. More connections to MARTA, public waste services and private waste management is not working. That's interesting. That really is. We've got river expansion, which is an interesting topic there. We've got family and domestic violence resources. That's great. And then Chattahoochee River improved for more recreation, more comments about the Chat River. And then we've got more senior activities, our senior services. unfortunately, they had to put a hold on that during COVID, but hopefully we're able to get that back up and having more senior activities in the near future. But we've got county provided trash and recycling pickup. That's interesting. When I did live in Cobb County, I was I was in a pickle because I thought they did provide trash and recycling pickup, but we've got roadside debris cleanup. DOT tries their best, but we are all struggling on that front. More opportunities for community to engage with police in not emergency situations. That's a great point too. We've still got comments coming in, but it looks like we are going to have to close down this to move on to the next topic. But like I said before, the chat is available if you want to continue providing opportunities for us. Everything that you guys are giving us right now are it's just awesome. The feedback is amazing. Thank you.
All right, so we'll move on to the next topic, which will be the challenges. What do you think are the greatest challenges for Cobb in the next 10 to 20 years? Are there any issues or challenges that Cobb could potentially be confronted with? Are there any trends that you're aware of that may have positive or negative impacts on the county? Right, better street maintenance, transportation, affordable housing, supporting the growing population. All right. Continue to get good information. Again, all of this will help us out as far as determining the needs and reevaluating the current needs and adjusting any goals and policies that are out there. Again, there will also be a public review. We will be conducting more community meetings, but there'll definitely be an opportunity for the community to take a look at the draft and look at any changes that are currently in, or that does occur in our comprehensive plan, and opportunities to provide feedback on those changes as well. So it looks like Brittany, are we still getting comments coming in?
Yes, we are slowly but surely, but if you would like to move on, we do have the comment section available.
Okay. Yeah, again, we'll move on. Again, these 4 questions, you can enter them in your chat. If you haven't taken the survey, there is a survey online that you can take. These 4 questions, along with other questions, are part of that survey, and you're more than welcome to take that survey if you haven't already. That actually brings me up to the next slide, which provides the QR codes to our engagement portal and the project website. And I believe Brittany will actually enter those websites into our chat so that you can just quickly click on them if you want to follow along. But one last exercise that we have before we end our meeting is Brad Gordon is going to take us through a demonstration of our engagement portal and our community input application. And you are more than welcome to move along with him and actually conduct the process of providing input. This particular interactive function allows us to get input in regards to the future land use. Hopefully, we can have in-person meetings and we can draw on maps and get comments in person. But until then, we want to continue getting comments, and we can do that through this interactive function that Brad's going to go through. And in fact, you will be able to do this at any point. You don't have to wait for a meeting to occur. So you can go to either one of these websites and move through that. And Brad will take us through that function. So Brad, if you want to take us away, I believe Brad's going to have to share his screen so that you can kind of get a sense of how to navigate through the process.
Yes, good evening. Yeah, the QR codes, like Phil said, will take you to one of two sites. One is the engagement portal, one is our comprehensive plan webpage. Excuse me, I'm actually going to go from starting from our comprehensive plan webpage and then show you where the link is within that. So let me share my screen real quick. This is a live demo, so bear with me. Okay, hopefully everybody can see my screen. This is our comprehensive planning webpage, and got a number of different resources here. We've also, but if you scroll down here about halfway down, we've got our community engagement portal. This is what we're going to focus on tonight. The community survey is down here, but it's also embedded into this engagement portal. So we'll click on that. And this pulls up our application, and this is a story map. This is an ArcGIS product, but it's very it's a robust product. We've got a lot of information in here. We've got all the information that was expressed gone through tonight, as well as a lot more information. And we've got infographics in here built into it. There are interactive web maps. There are static maps. So it's pretty self-explanatory when you get down into the different types of maps as to whether they're interactive or not, and whether they can be clicked on and zoomed in and things like that. I will note you can access this from a mobile device. It doesn't seem to work as well. It just is not. It's a large, I guess, a large platform. So it shrinks everything down, so it's not quite as user friendly that way as it is on a computer. So I would recommend using a computer if you can. Let's see. So what we do. Excuse me. I'm sorry. You can scroll down to go through the application to see the different parts of it. And as you scroll down, you'll notice that the line underneath these different tabs moves just in different sections. The one we're going to focus on tonight is the feedback portion. So I click on that, and it jumps down. For some reason, we've tried to fix this, but not real sure what's going on. But it jumps past the survey. You'll see that I've already taken the survey just as a test, and so it shows me that I've already taken it. So I scroll back up so you can see that. But now we'll scroll down to the comprehensive plan portion of it, the engagement portal part of it, the crowdsourcing application. What you want to do is the best way to use it you can click on it. I'm going to maximize it on the screen. So I click on this icon up here. Let's see, we'll go ahead and proceed as a guest. You get this splash screen that pops up, and it's a help screen, and it's just got information about the application. It tells you, how to use it, what's involved and all. If you accidentally close this, or if you close it and you want to come back to it, it is also available here under this question mark up on the top right. Hope everybody can see my cursor there. So I'll click on that and it opens it back up. This just talks about what's in this site, what's in the application. I'll note the legend over here on the left shows us, based on the map that you're activated, on the right hand side, the legend it changes based on that as to what is in this map itself. So you can see in here we've got future land use categories. This is the future land use map that we're focused on here. So what we want to do is, I'm sorry, also you've got you can zoom in, zoom out. You can also use if you've got a mouse with the roller wheel, you can zoom in and out using that. It seems to work pretty well as well, also. So we've got 3 different categories over here to focus on, to go through, and that we want to allow people to make comments on, and zoom into specific locations and actually put points on the map that are their focal points. For each one of these categories, there's an I button on the right hand side, map information, and that explains what is how you basically maneuver through the different categories, and how you provide comments on each one. So what we'll do is we will click on the future land use map first.
Hold on, Brad.
Yeah.
Click on, just show them, click on the I so that they can see the information that's available.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that.
Because especially when it comes to future land use,
Yes.
there's a lot of definitions in the future land use designations. And this I button provides those definitions. If you're not that familiar with the future land use, it gives you the density recommendations for each of the future land uses. And it basically explains what all the different future land use categories mean, whether it's activity center, parks and rec, conservation, and or any of the residential categories.
Thanks. Sorry about that. All right. So then you can just click that again to close that window. And we will go ahead and go into the future land use map portion here. And what you want to do is you'll notice on the right hand side, it allows for comments. Once you hit submit, the comment will show up here. And you can see that people have already posted some comments on here. You can actually go and you can like certain comments. Once you click, you can see what the comments are, and it zooms into the different locations, and then you can like those or if you want to. So let's go ahead and start a comment here. So what I want to do is basically go to the location first, and so what we'll do here is we'll just zoom into our office. You can hit the magnifying glass, or you can also just hit enter, and it goes ahead and jumps to it. And then we want to add, if you want to add comments about why you like this location, what your feedback would be for this location, you put that there. You just put something. I've already tested this, so I have it auto-filled basically. And then I've got, you can add attachments. So I'll browse for a picture of this building. So that's attached. And then we'll click report it. Sorry, I did not add a point. That's something you have to do. I did not add a point. I apologize. So you'll see here, click to add a point. I need to add a point to this location. Okay, so you see it says, thank you, your report has been submitted. So we can go back. Should be, there's the first comment there. You see the image that's associated with it. So that's how the future land use map portion goes. They're all going to be similar. The future land use map is focused on that aspect. So we'll go to, well, first we'll click on the I button for the natural and historic resources map, and pretty self-explanatory is what we're looking at here. And this is not, this is not broken down as far because they're not different designations like there are in future land use. Go ahead and click on that. And you notice the map changes here, and its focus is on the natural and historic resources. So we already got some comments here. This one has 3 likes. Go ahead and submit. And then we will, instead of typing in a location, we'll just zoom into an area. Okay. We'll just click here and add a point. We'll say preserve floodplain. I don't have any pictures to attach, so since we've already added our point, we'll just report it. And our report has been submitted. Go back. We'll do the parks portion. And there's some more information here about parks and the focus there. And the map changes again. Focus on parks. And we'll go ahead and submit here.
I believe on this particular map, if you zoom down far enough, the road names and common areas will show up so that you can kind of get a reference of where you're located.
Yeah, and this goes back to the legend that we talked about earlier. So you've got the common places with these points. You see that on the legend, and then the different types of trails, and then the roads. A little buffer around the parks for half-mile walking distance. So go up here, and we will click a point. We're in the middle of a lake, and Lake Altoona. And I've already tested this one out, so great fishing spot. And report
Hey,
it.
can you post a picture of that big fish you caught there?
Yeah. Wish I had one to post. That comment was submitted. See the comment there? And for any of these, if you get zoomed in too far, or you're not in the right location or anything like that, you can always hit home on any of these 3 maps, and it'll go back to the starting scale that we started at. So the overall, and you can also see the other comments. These little eye indicators. They indicate another comment that's been made in another location. That is basically it for this application. It's pretty easy to use once you get familiar with it. And so yeah, if you we welcome your feedback. We would love to have as much interaction with this as possible. This hopefully will take the place as best as it can for the in-person interaction that we can't necessarily have right now.
All right. Thanks, Brad. And we'll now shift back over. Let me make sure we. All right. Okay, so with that is what we have for y'all tonight. We will be continuing to accept comments, obviously, whether it's online or through additional virtual meetings that we'll have. We'll actually, beginning next week, we'll start having our district virtual meetings. Starting, I believe it's February 3rd. Let's see. I think I can go back. Yes, right there. So those will be our next meetings. One every week for the month of February. We'll be focusing these meetings more toward the district, commission district, I should say, the commissioner district. So you're more than welcome to attend those. If you do not, if you miss your district meeting, you're more than welcome to attend other district meetings. Basically, we're always looking for input. So a lot of the information that you saw tonight will be repeated in those meetings, other than some of the assessment and trends may be a little different and may be oriented more toward the district versus the county as a whole. With that, I want to thank everyone for spending your time with us this evening. I know it's not easy, but definitely appreciate it. The county appreciates it, and the planning division here in community development also appreciates your involvement, and look forward to seeing you all hopefully in person at some point to we can discuss more and be more interactive as far as personal interacting, asking questions, and discussing a lot of the topics that you have provided with us tonight. So with that, thank you very much, and hope you all have a rest of a good evening and the rest of the week. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I wanted to comment on Rachel Bruce's question. Is there any news on the UDO meetings? Personally, I do not know what UDO is. Philip, do you know what UDO is?
She is probably, my guess is probably the referencing the UDC, Unified
Okay.
Development Code meeting.
That's what I thought so too. We are not personally involved with the Unified Development Code, and any news would be posted on the county's website. I believe at cobbcounty.org/comdev, which I'm going to put in the chat. There is a news article about the Unified Development Code, and that would be where any updates would be posted. So I'm going to link that for you right now in the chat.
All right. All right. Thank you, everyone. And again, this meeting will be posted online to view later. So if anyone missed it, or if you know of anyone that missed it and wants to take a look at it, you can just defer them to the cobbcounty.org comp plan website. So thank you very much and have a good night.